All right, let's dive into something delicious today. We're taking a deep dive into a Southeast Asian brown rice with vegetables recipe.
Sounds fantastic.
You shared this recipe with us, and it looks amazing. From your notes, you're aiming for healthy and flavorful, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And what's really interesting here is the brown rice. It's a smart choice, especially for the health conscious.
Yeah, you mentioned wanting more fiber, and brown rice has got that in spades. But, okay, so brown rice, got it. What makes it so much better than white rice? Besides, the fiber boost.
Well, it's all about how it's processed. Brown rice keeps the bran and germ. Those are packed with good stuff like magnesium, selenium, B vitamins, all that. White rice, though, it loses all that.
So brown rice is like the superhero of rice then, huh?
You could say that.
Speaking of superpowers, this recipe also brings in those vibrant Southeast Asian flavors.
Absolutely. While this recipe doesn't specify exactly where in Southeast Asia it's from, it definitely uses those fresh ingredients and bold flavors the region is known for.
Okay, enough talk, let's get cooking. What do we need for this culinary masterpiece?
The beauty is in the simplicity. You'll need brown rice, of course. Long grain or jasmine are good choices for that authentic Southeast Asian texture.
Perfect. And what about the veggie lineup? What are we working with?
The recipe calls for carrots, bok choy, bell peppers, and snap peas.
Sounds delicious.
And remember, you mentioned using up leftover produce, so feel free to swap in whatever veggies you have on hand.
I love that. Resourceful and creative, that's the way to go. So rice, veggies, check. What else brings those Southeast Asian flavors to life?
That's where the aromatics come in. You can't go wrong with minced garlic. And some freshly grated ginger adds that warm, earthy note.
Garlic and ginger, a classic combo.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what about the sauce? What gives it that savory kick?
Soy sauce or tamari is key here. Tamari is great if you need a gluten-free option. Oh, and don't forget a drizzle of sesame oil for that nutty aroma and richness.
Okay, my mouth is already watering. Now, you mentioned something about spice in your notes. Does this recipe have a kick?
It does. It uses chili flakes, which you can adjust to your liking.
Oh.
You mentioned wanting to try more heat in your meals, so this is the perfect chance to experiment.
Challenge accepted. All right, so we've got our base, our veggies, our aromatics, our sauce. Anything else before we start cooking?
To finish, they recommend fresh green onions and sesame seeds. That adds a nice touch of flavor and texture. And a squeeze of lime juice is always a good idea for some brightness.
Those final touches sound incredible. Okay, I'm ready to dive into the cooking process. Where do we begin?
First things first, let's rinse that brown rice really well under cold water.
Wait, hold on. Why is rinsing so important? Is it really necessary?
It gets rid of extra starch. That way it won't get sticky. We want nice fluffy rice, right?
Makes sense, especially since, lighter meals are what we're going for. Fluffy rice it is. Okay, what's next?
While the rice is cooking, in a rice cooker or on the stovetop, we prep our veggies.
Right.
Wash them, chop them into bite-sized pieces. Keep them roughly the same size so they cook evenly.
Okay, veggies prepped, ready to go. Now, the recipe mentions stir-frying. I'm not going to lie, stir-frying kind of intimidates me. Any tips for a newbie?
High heat is key, and cook it quick. You want the veggies to stay crunchy and colorful, remember? A wok is ideal, but a large skillet works fine.
Got it. High heat, quick cooking. What goes in the pan first?
A little drizzle of sesame oil, then the minced garlic and grated ginger. Let them sizzle for a bit, release their fragrance. You'll know it's ready when your kitchen smells amazing.
Oh yeah, I can practically smell it now. Okay, what next? Do all the veggies go in at once?
Better to add them in stages. Start with the ones that take longer to cook, like the carrots.
Makes sense.
And remember, you wanted to try different veggies. This is your chance to get creative.
Ooh, good point. Okay, carrots first, then the rest of the crew. How do I know when they're cooked just right?
Tender crisp, that's the sweet spot. Cooked through, but still a little bite to them.
No mushy veggies.
Definitely not.
Okay, so perfectly cooked rice, vibrant stir-fried veggies. What happens now?
Now's the magic moment. Combine everything. Add the rice to the skillet, along with your soy sauce or tamari, and gently toss to coat. The rice will soak up all these delicious flavors.
This is making me so hungry. Now, what about adding some protein? What are our options?
This is where you can customize it, to your preferences. Tofu's a great choice for a vegan version. Shrimp or chicken would add a more traditional touch. You mentioned trying plant-based proteins. Have you ever had tempeh?
Tempeh? No, that's new to me. What is it?
It's made from fermented soybeans. It has this nutty, earthy flavor. Good source of protein and fiber, plus it holds its shape well in stir-fries.
Tempeh. Okay, adding that to my list. So rice, veggies, protein sauce, all mixed. Are we done?
Almost. Remember those finishing touches? Thyme for the green onions, sesame seeds, and don't forget that squeeze of lime for a burst of freshness.
This is torture. I'm starving. Any pro tips or tricks I should know?
Actually, yeah, the blog post had some great ones. They recommend day-old rice.
Wait, really? Why is that?
Day-old rice is drier, so it won't get mushy when stir-fried. Helps get that fluffy texture we're after.
Huh. Interesting. What other tips did they have?
They really stress not overcrowding the pan while stir-frying. That way, everything cooks quickly and evenly. No steaming.
Right. Gotta avoid those soggy veggies. Anything else?
They had some good advice on leftovers. This dish reheats well. Just store it in the fridge in an airtight container. When you're ready to eat, reheat it in a skillet, adding a splash of water so it doesn't dry out.
Leftovers for lunch tomorrow. Yes, please. Okay, so we've got the ingredients, the cooking, all the tips. I'm feeling good about this. But what makes this recipe so special? What sets it apart?
I think it shows how simple, healthy ingredients can become something amazing. It celebrates Southeast Asian flavors, but is adaptable to your own needs and preferences.
I love that. It's an adventure, not just a recipe.
Exactly. It's about exploring new flavors, being creative in the kitchen, and nourishing your body with good food.
And you mentioned before that this recipe kind of reflects a bigger trend, a culinary evolution, especially in Southeast Asia. What's that about?
Well, Southeast Asian food has always been known for its bold flavors and spices, right? But lately, there's been a shift towards lighter, healthier versions of traditional dishes.
So this recipe is like a modern take on a classic.
Exactly. Traditional flavors, but with brown rice and fresh veggies for a meal that's both tasty and good for you.
The healthy and delicious combo, yes. It seems like it fits in with that mindful eating trend you mentioned too.
For sure. Mindful eating is about paying attention to your food, enjoying each bite, noticing how it makes you feel. And this recipe encourages that by using fresh ingredients, simple techniques. It lets those natural flavors shine through.
It's not just what you eat, it's how you eat it. So we've talked about the HEPA2, the cultural side, the mindful eating aspect. Anything else we should cover?
Well, I think it's good to remember that even with healthy eating, there are different views and approaches.
Oh, I'm always curious about that. What are some of the different perspectives?
Some people focus on counting calories, others on macronutrients. Some prioritize plant-based meals or organic, local ingredients.
So many ways to approach it.
Yeah,
But this recipe seems flexible enough to fit into different styles.
that's right. You can change the ingredients, how much you make, the cooking methods, whatever matches your goals.
It's all about finding what works for you. I love how adaptable it is, like a choose-your-own-adventure for healthy eating.
I like that. And it shows there's no one right way to eat healthy.
It's about finding what nourishes you, body and mind.
Absolutely. A mindful, balanced way of eating, one that brings you joy.
So we've looked at this Southeast Asian brown rice recipe from every angle. Ingredients, cooking, culture, health benefits, different dietary views. What's the big takeaway?
I think the biggest thing is healthy eating doesn't have to be boring or restrictive. It can be delicious, a way to explore new flavors, celebrate different cultures, and nourish yourself.
And this recipe is the perfect example. It's delicious, adaptable, inspiring. Anyone can enjoy it no matter what they like to eat.
Exactly. It's a reminder that cooking can be fun and creative. Healthy food can be satisfying and so delicious.
I don't know about you, but I am so ready to go make this dish. You feeling those Southeast Asian vibes?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'm already planning my grocery list. And who knows? Maybe this will inspire us to try even more global cuisines.
Now you're talking. I'm always up for a culinary adventure. We're back, and I am still thinking about that Southeast Asian brown rice with vegetables. But before we wrap this up, I want to bring it back to you, the listener.
That's important. We can talk about recipes all day, but how does it fit into your life, right?
Exactly. So how can you take all this delicious knowledge and use it in your own kitchen for your own well-being?
You know, one thing people struggle with is healthy eating feeling overwhelming. Like they have to change everything all at once.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be like that.
Right, like with this recipe, small changes can make a big difference. You don't have to become a chef overnight.
Exactly. Start simple. Add more whole grains like brown rice to your meals. You wanted to boost nutrition easily, and this is a great way to do it.
And remember how you talked about reducing food waste? This recipe is perfect for using up those leftover veggies. So you're eating healthier A&D, being more mindful about what you use.
It's about those little changes to your mindset and your habits that make a real difference. And this recipe proves that flavor and nutrition can absolutely go together.
Totally. It's not just the food itself either. It's the whole experience. Cooking can be self-care, a way to relax, connect with yourself.
I love that. You're taking time to nourish your body, experiment, create something delicious. That's powerful stuff.
It reminds you that healthy eating shouldn't be a chore. It should be a celebration of good food, good health, maybe even good company if you're sharing the meal.
Oh, and speaking of sharing, this recipe can be a gateway to exploring other cultures through food. You mentioned wanting to travel more, and while this dish isn't a plane ticket, it can definitely spark your imagination, transport you a little.
It's like a mini vacation for your taste buds. And maybe it'll inspire you to try more Southeast Asian food, or even other global cuisines.
The possibilities are endless. Just approach it with curiosity and open mind. Experiment, get creative, have fun in the kitchen. That's what matters.
So there we have it. We've covered everything about this Southeast Asian brown rice with vegetables. But what's really important is the deeper meaning, right? It's about healthy choices that are also delicious, sustainable. It's about enjoying cooking and connecting with yourself and the world through food.
As you try new things in the kitchen, remember, there's no right or wrong way. Find what works for you, what makes you happy, what nourishes you. That's the key.
We hope this deep dive has inspired you, given you some ideas, and maybe you're ready to create your own delicious meals now.
And remember, this isn't the end. Keep exploring, keep learning, keep enjoying every bite.
Thanks for joining us on this tasty journey. Be sure to check the show notes for a link to the recipe and some other helpful resources. Until next time, happy cooking.